Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast. This is the Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast.
G'day everybody, welcome to the Trader Cobb Crypto Show. Today I have one of my apprentices, Luke Inkson, with us. I wanted to sort of go through it with Luke today and discuss a video that he put out on Market View, which is our 6-day-a-week video service. If you haven't already got yourself access to it, go and jump on for a free month if you like. Just go to tradercobb.com/free. Yeah, you got to sign up, put your details in there. You get a free month. It's the first month's free. So just jump on and have a crack at that if you want to know. And I thought it would be good to go through and sort of discuss Luke's findings on the podcast as well. So Luke, thanks for being here, mate.
Oh, thanks for having me. So,
mate, you went through and did the ultimately fairly tedious task of opening up many accounts. I mean, do you want to walk us through what you did and sort of what you found?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, I thought I would go through all of the different exchanges that I could find in search of greener pastures, I suppose. And I wanted to find a platform that offered a good range of coin pairings as well as a lot of different options when raising orders. And it did take a lot longer than I thought it was going to, as I had to sign up to each individual exchange and check them out. But unfortunately, there wasn't as many great exchanges out there as I was hoping for.
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. I mean, I've talked about it on the podcast before. I've talked about it in our groups before. I've talked about it in the Slack. I've talked about it. We've covered it quite extensively. It's look, if we look now, like we do every morning, mate, and we look at the Bitcoin pairings, for example, a lot of these trends are they're unbelievable, and they're trending. They're pulling back in the cradles, and they're offering Fibonacci booster after booster after booster after booster, and cradle after cradle after cradle after cradle. And we'd be making an absolute fortune if we could trade these things short. But unfortunately, the options just don't seem to be there. And I guess that's kind of what your research points it out, was that we are relatively limited as to what we can do, especially in a downtrend. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, comparing this to traditional markets, we really are early days at the moment, and these exchanges have a long way to go before they match the kind of platforms that you can use on those traditional markets.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fact. I mean, there's a few things to consider here. I mean, the first thing to consider is the crazy volatility. We've got markets that we can get on our risk multiple, we can get 10, 20, 30 times. We've had a couple of beyond 20 times risk multiple trades this year. So you've got to take the good with the bad. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, when the markets are down, it's much more difficult. We don't have as many trading options. For example, I can buy anything against Bitcoin. I can't sell anything against Bitcoin for a short trade. So it makes it much more difficult. I mean, how many platforms do you reckon you went through? I mean, how much time did you spend on it?
Oh, yeah, I was at it for a few days there. I guess I went through maybe 20 to 30 different platforms, but I quickly realized that a lot of them weren't really worth wasting too much time on. So I narrowed it down to, I guess, a list of about 7 or 8 that were reasonable, but majority of those didn't really have a large range of coin pairings.
So what would you call? I mean, obviously, guys, this is just a conversational piece. We're not suggesting that anybody should open any of these accounts. You do your own research. We don't get any kickback. We get nothing at all from any platform. We're just discussing what options are out there, and we're discussing what research Luke's put in. So again, the risk disclaimer is you make your own decisions here. We're just going to relay some information back. So what did you find, mate? I mean, out of the platforms that seemed to be worthwhile, I mean, you're the one who did the research. Was there anything major that you sort of found that you didn't like, that any epiphanies that you had?
Look, I think it really just reaffirmed that I've probably been using the best available platform that I've come across so far, which is Bitfinex. And I think it's pretty fair to say that the majority of traders in the circles that I'm in are all using Bitfinex at the moment, just because it does have a larger offering of coin pairings and a few more options than the other exchanges. There were a couple of other contenders out there that might be worth looking at in the future. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on Huobi, and they will be releasing an Australian version of the exchange very soon, Huobi Pro. So they have a large coin pairing range, but they still need to work on the different options as far as raising orders goes. But apart from that, yeah, I'm really sort of just sticking with Bitfinex at the moment.
Yeah, okay. And is that just because it just like ease of use? So there's a couple of things to consider. It's not just trading; it's about what sort of orders we can have. Obviously, when we're trading, we want to be able to at least have our risk managed. That means a stop loss. I mean, was there anything that was there any platforms that you thought had some good options, but just didn't offer the right level of order systems?
There were with a few very similar options. The thing is, they all word them in a different way, but they basically are the same options across all those different exchanges. But when you get into a bit more complicated orders, say you want to raise an order, but you also want to put your target and your stop loss in at exactly the same time, it's pretty difficult to do that at the moment across any of the exchanges that are available out there. So it's something that they really need to work on and expand to get more people using these exchanges.
So there's a language barrier too. So they're saying like what we might call a stop loss order, they might call something else. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, what did you think of BitMEX? Because I hear a lot of people talking about BitMEX, the large level of leverage. I know personally some people that exclusively trade Bitcoin through BitMEX because of the leverage. What were your findings on BitMEX?
Okay, so I'm not 100% sure that I found everything that was available on BitMEX because I too have heard some really, really good things about it. But from what I could see, it was only possible to margin trade with Bitcoin versus the US dollar. They did have some other pairings, but from what I could tell, they were only available as futures contracts. Now, they do have a good range of different options as far as things like post only and reduce only orders, different trailing stops, and those sorts of things. And they do offer leverage up to 100 times, which personally I think is pretty dangerous, but the option is there. So they do have some good options, but I think that they need to get more coin pairings like many of the other exchanges.
Yeah, because they do seem to have some big numbers, big volumes, and big trades, but they are limited. It seems to me, to be a Bitcoin only type place. It does have good leverage. It does have good volume. It's got the best leverage, to be fair, out of everywhere that I've seen. Or when I say best, I should say the largest level of leverage, whether that's good or bad. Don't forget that trading with leverage or margin it's a double-edged sword. Let's be honest. You can make gains quicker, you can lose money quicker as well. So everybody needs to be aware of that. Education is absolutely key when you're talking about using margin, and obviously understanding how to manage your risk. Someone using BitMEX or any leverage for that matter that doesn't know what they're doing, it can go pear-shaped very, very quickly. So across, you said Huboy, or I don't know, Warboy, or however you pronounce it, you just nailed it. I can't seem to get there. Hobby or something?
It's Huobi. Huobi. I had to look that one up on YouTube to make sure I was pronouncing it properly, but yeah, Huobi.
I can understand why. So that's you think that's a bit of a keep an eye on that for the future, yeah?
Yeah. I think that could turn into a very useful platform at some point down the track. I'm not going to be using it at the moment, but I think they're headed in the right direction, definitely.
And was there any platforms that we know that Bitfinex has the largest at this stage spread across what you can trade with margin. Did certain platforms offer contracts or options to trade? When I say options, I don't mean trading options. I just mean the option to trade. Was there any markets that we sort of went, well, okay, well this platform offers Cardano with leverage, for example, like I know BitMEX does, but it doesn't offer it over here. Like, would you see the point in making shortlisting a couple of platforms just for maybe 2 or 3 different cryptos to trade?
I did consider it, but I've decided not to in the end because I'm using a fair portion of my portfolio in a margin wallet at the moment on Bitfinex. I prefer to just keep it all in the one spot, so I have a larger collateral position there than to move just a little bit over to another exchange just for one particular coin pairing. So yeah, I think I'll stick with Bitfinex for the short term anyway.
So it's about convenience, risk management, and basically convenience. Really, you know how to use it. You trust the platform as far as yourself using that platform, and once you're familiar with the platform, once you're comfortable with it, that takes a little bit of time as well. Because when we're looking at raising a trade like a crypto cradle, for example, if we're looking at that, the candle closes, the next candle opens, and that trade could be live straight away. So there is a degree of efficiency that is required on some of these trading strategies. So it's interesting because I know you put a lot of time into it to find out that, around and around and around we go, we come back to the same one once again. It's good to know, though, because I'm glad that you put all your time into it, not me.
And yeah, look, I mean, in the end, I guess you could say it kind of was depressing to find out that there aren't as many exchanges out there that are as useful as I was hoping. But it really does show that we are early days at the moment, and there is a lot more room to grow. So I am pretty positive about what's going to come along as time goes on. And hopefully more exchanges jump on board and give us some more coin offerings and definitely some more options when it comes to raising orders.
Absolutely. Well, mate, thanks so much for your time. And to any platforms out there, old, new, established, or up and comers, if you would like to speak to me about how to set yourself up as far as what orders we want, what traders want, how we would like to use your platform, and where we think that you could get some volume, please get in contact and email admin@tradercobb.com, because I'd be more than interested to get involved and to see if we can't create a platform that, because no one's really dominating in the space in a way that I think it can be dominated. So there's an opportunity there for whoever's got the pockets to do it, really, and maybe they already have the infrastructure in place. So thanks so much for your time, Luke. Thanks for your research, and thanks for being on this podcast.
Oh, thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
Excellent, guys. Have a great day. Speak to you again very soon. Bye for now.
The Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast. Check out tradercobb.com because experience matters.